2018 is the remake to the 1977 classic film that shares the same name. It tells the story of Susie, an American dancer who goes to Berlin to try out for late dance school. She gets accepted but finds out there's a dark secret within the school. Now, I absolutely adore the original film, and I watched it back, I want to say for the first time in 2019. I was 14 at the time when I watched the original. So for the next 2 years, embarrassingly enough, I knew about there was a remake, and because I adored the original so much, I saw forums online saying that the remake was bad. I thought the remake was terrible, all of this. I also knew that the remake was a box office failure. So for 2 years, I was in the mindset, embarrassingly, of the remake was bad, it was terrible, and I was never gonna give it a shot because the remake, the original, way better. It wasn't until I was 16 when I found out that there was a trilogy and that it wasn't just one standalone movie. So I watched Inferno, the second movie, and I had a really good time with Inferno. So I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to give that original movie, that remake, a shot. Unfortunately, I decided to watch these movies in order, meaning I watched Mother of Tears before I watched this remake. Not a fan of Mother of Tears. So by the time I got to the remake, I was like, you know what? Maybe it's not as bad as I think it's gonna be. And after watching the remake, I understood why a lot of people did not like the remake. The remake is very different from the original trilogy in very different ways. It's completely 180 from the original film, which is what a remake is supposed to do. It is supposed to take the original movie and tell it in a different way. And I like that the movie does that. The biggest thing I could remember about this movie, even before rewatching it, was long. I remembered Olga's scene and the twist ending when rewatching this movie. I also got a comment, I don't even know how many months ago, maybe it was a year ago, someone left a comment saying the remake to this movie was terrible, which actually inspired me to make the franchise review I am doing now because I adore the Three Mothers trilogy with the exception of Mother of Tears. I like all the rest of the three movies in this franchise. Now, I preference all of that to say I understand why a lot of people don't like this movie. It is very different from the original. I was once in that camp before I gave it a shot. But I think that this is a very solid remake. I think what they tell their story was interesting. The way they twist it works very well. Now, the biggest thing holding it back is its runtime. You can definitely feel it, especially on rewatch when you know the twist ending. I could definitely feel the runtime more than not knowing it before. I actually compared to The Shining runtime. The runtime of this movie is 2 hours, 32 minutes. The Shining runtime is 2 hours, 23 minutes. So this is longer than The Shining. Now, there are a lot of things I actually like about this movie because I think this is a very solid remake and it holds up. I like that dance has a bigger role in this movie. Not only do you have the ritual dance, you have several dance sequences and dance practices. So I like that. Olga's death scene, especially involving the dance, because you see Susie dance and then you see Olga. Very effective and probably the one dance scene that stuck in my mind years later because this was my first rewatch after years of watching this movie. And even the dances of two ritual dances, I will say, very, very effective. That's actually, oh here we go, right here, from the remake right here. That's from, I forget the name of the dance they do, but that's from that scene with the strings. I also really like the change of Sarah's character. I also wanted to share, this is my favorite outfit from Sarah. Now, Sarah's character of what is actually played by Mia Goth, so I forgot she was in this movie completely. But Sarah plays more of trying to find things out. She's a close friend of Patricia, the girl that goes missing in the beginning. And having her kind of be the kind of detective-like character, I like that a lot. And I will say, throughout most of the movie, personally, I liked Sarah more than I did Susie. I think acting-wise, everyone did a good job in their role. I think they did fine in their role. but I just kind of preferred Sarah's character over Susie's character until we got to the twist ending, because that twist ending is fun. Now, on rewatch, it is a completely different viewing experience from the first time, because I knew that Susie was the mother that the other person was claiming to be. So watching that movie from that perspective, knowing it, and that first scene comes on, what she had before, I thought, for some reason, I thought to myself that she was the mother the entire time. Personally, now I think that she realizes that she is the mother in this school in Berlin, and I think maybe she realizes what she's doing, because maybe that's why she changes this choreography and helps Sarah, her friend. That's what's going on in my head. I think that's when she realizes, but that's just me personally. But she definitely realizes by the end. So it's very different watching this movie when you know that she is the mother versus when you don't know she is the mother, which is very interesting. I like that aspect of the movie. And this movie is shot very well, even though it's not as colorful. I think it is shot very well. And even having like the mother's dialogue and the voting, I like that. The mothers, how they do that, very, very fun. And I like how they use the witchcraft. I apologize if I pronounced this incorrectly, but Tilda Swinton plays 3 roles in this movie. She plays Madame Blanc, Dr. Kepler, and Helen Marcos. Now, of the 2 roles, interestingly here, I want to talk about Madame Blanc and Helen Marcos. 2 very different characters, and she does a good job in both of those roles. Madame Blanc we meet probably the most throughout the movie. You have the voting scene where they vote Marcos or Blanc, and of course Marcos is voted in, and Blanc kind of picks up something is wrong and even tries to stop it. Marcos is basically at the end of like, no, we're gonna do this, and of course she pays for that towards the end when Susie's like, I am the mother, and teaches her her lesson. But very interesting to have one character play 3 roles, and she does great in all of them. Fun fact, did you know the original actress who played Susie in the 1977 film plays the psychologist's wife for about 4 to 5 minutes in this film, in that small role, which is very cool to bring her back for that role. Now, a complaint some people also have about this movie, which admittedly I heard a little bit about in the comments. People said this was a bad movie way back then, was the RAF stuff. Now, the RAF stands for Red Army Faction. Now, this was a real event that happened, and I just want to make sure you do enough research to know that it was happened. Now, in the context of this film and not the real event, Patricia, this does serve a purpose, because not only does it set up for something that's going on, how this school is just surviving by, and it serves purpose as to why Patricia would go away and disappear in the context of the film speaking. Does it deserve as long screen time as it probably did get? Not necessarily. They definitely could have cut some screen time off of that. They could have kept the radio stuff, and they definitely could have kept the reason why she would run away, but it did not deserve all of the screen time it entirely got. Was not a total big fan of all the screen time it got. Now, all of this to say, I had a really good time with this remake. I think this is a very solid remake. I like the way that not only does it tell a story in little chapters of dance, and even the dances themselves are pretty solid. The gore is pretty solid when you get it. The acting wise are pretty good. The runtime is just the biggest thing that not only holds it back, but rewatchability definitely holds it back even stronger. And yeah, that's like the biggest thing I can hold against it, because this is just a very solid remake, and I wish it got more box office success, because I would have liked to see what we could have got with a remake of Inferno. Now, comment down below what you think of Suspiria's remake. Did you like it? Not like it? Comment down below, and I'll see you guys soon, because I am doing a ranking of all of the 4 films. I'll see you guys there.